Anti-Semitism is always there, just beneath the surface. And if you poke it in the proper way, with the proper finger and the proper language, it can erupt in pockets or enlarge. What particular triggers do you think have been pulled over the course of the last decade in this country to result in what I think is a growing manifestation of anti-Semitism that was rather dormant a decade ago?
That's a great question. I think a huge part of it is what I said before, that the things that, there used to be things that weren't allowed to be said, and now those things are being said. I spoke to a young man the other day who was walking around NYU. He's a first-year law student. He's wearing a kippah on his head, and someone said to him, "Effing Jew." Another person heard it and said, "Well, what did you do to deserve it?" That has become a normal thing here in New York City. I think the thing, though, that is confusing for people is that when anti-Semitism comes at the Jewish community from white supremacists, we are all sort of in agreement about what that is, because it's very blunt in its aims. It says, kill all the Jews, and then they try and do it. It is much more confusing when, for example, in the last week of August in Brooklyn, there were 3 ultra-Orthodox men that were violently assaulted, and they weren't assaulted by white supremacists. So what do you do when it's coming at all of these directions? And of course, it's also coming from the far left and seeping in, I fear, to the Democratic Party, which is a huge fear among Jews, that could the Democratic Party become something more akin to Jeremy Corbyn's Labor over time?